Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Well, friends, as I told yesterday, today we are going to discuss another issue, and that is the issue of sociology of work. We spent about 4 hours discussing the nature of a state and its implications for society and other institutions of society. Today we will talk about work. There is no doubt that work is central to life in any society, especially in the Western society, which is industrially more advanced and where there is very little residue of feudalism, tradition, or ancient traditional society. When somebody asks, who are you type, and the expectation is that you will say that I am a teacher, or I am an engineer, or a medical representative, administrator, or a statesman. Because people get identified with what they do, work. Work is so central to life. I was thinking how to begin this discussion and what to cover in sociology of work. There are many things. And when I read the chapter on work in P. Gisbert, I was not very happy. It's not a very well written chapter on work. So I thought I will use Gisbert, but go beyond Gisbert to give you an idea of work and its relationship with society. Remember that when sociologists discuss anything, it may be work, it may be education, it may be state, they are interested in what is that, what are the essential features of that we are going to discuss. As society has changed, what kind of changes have taken place in that, and how that thing or that fact relates to other facts of society. So when we talk of work, then obviously we want to know what was the organization of work or system of work in pre-industrial society, means in ancient society, in horticultural society, in agricultural society, advanced feudalism, then society of arts and crafts or guilds, a more advanced civilization, trade, commerce, then industry, and now we say that we are in the stage of post-industry. How the nature of work has changed. In ancient society, work was central and collective. For survival, the whole community of people would engage in work together. All the people are working. What was work? Work was related to search for food, herbs, medicines, roots, fruits, leaves, stems, which they could eat, hunting of animals for their survival. This was work, and the work was done together. Work did not produce any special status for anyone because work was same. And when work is same, when everybody is engaged equally in producing things for survival, then distribution of things produced gets what call them utilities. Anything which satisfies our needs is called utility, or the things which have an utility may be called goods. To use economics language, there are producers' goods and there are consumers' goods. And in that kind of society, there was no inequality either, because everybody had to survive. So, the food procured from cultivation or hunting was shared by all members of the community. There was no inequality. Gradually, as society advanced, and we call that man is a tool-making animal, man started making tools, and this led to development of science and technology. It became possible for man to produce more than what he needs to survive. So, it generated surplus, extra. Now, people were able to survive and also produce something extra. So, that means that some people need not work. When it is possible to produce more than what you need, what the community needs, what the group needs, or tribe, or band, or clans and subclans need, then some people can be freed from the responsibility of work. And so, many types of activities started which were not directly connected with work. And this is how like priests, politicians or statesmen, poets, intellectuals, philosophers, in some or other form, artists, painters, people made sketches. We can still find traces of sketches made by artists several thousand years ago in caves in different parts of the country. In Bhopal, you find some caves where sketches of people drawn thousands of years ago are still preserved. So, people started doing all those things. And this is how society started getting divided. We call it division of labor, that people started engaging in different kinds of activities. I thought that I can begin this lecture by showing how all our needs, all types of needs of people are related to work. In modern society or in industrial society, society of today, we have various types of needs. And when I started connecting needs to work, immediately a classification of needs made by one very famous psychologist and management guru, A.H. Maslow, came to my mind. M-A-S-L-O-W, Maslow. Maslow said that people have various types of needs, and these needs can be arranged in a hierarchical order. Hierarchy means that satisfaction of one need leads to emergence of another need in man. What are these needs? There is a basic need. Basic need is food, survival. The first and foremost need of human being is to survive, to protect life. All of us want to protect our life. And for protecting our life, we need food. Food, clothes, shelter. This is a basic need. We cannot remain without food for long. We cannot remain without water for long. So water, food. We need water and food. And to have water and food, you have to do work. Right from the beginning, from Stone Age, from ancient societies, whether people engage in shifting cultivation or settled agriculture, or they raise horses and other animals, camels, buffaloes, cows, goats, a society of that kind, based on animals, animal power, more of animal power, or industry. To satisfy our basic needs, we have to work for food, for basic needs. Once our basic needs are satisfied, then arise another type of needs, safety and security. Then we want to be safe and secure. We are surviving. But apart from food, there are many other types of risks also. These risks may come from other tribes, other communities, other clans, other countries, or maybe from other parts of this universe, or maybe from epidemics, or maybe from natural disasters, devastation, starvation, floods, famines, droughts. There are both kinds of risks. Risks which are from nature and risks which are from men. And we have to protect ourselves from both types of risk, safety and security. Man wants to be safe and secure. And to satisfy those needs, again, he has to work. What works are related to safety and security? Like in our society, there is a separate class of workers which specialize in providing security. Industrial security force, army, police. They keep us secure and safe. So there is a work. We want to be safe and secure. For safety, we also build better houses which are more protected. In place of living in kacha houses, we want to live in pakka houses. We lock our houses. So we need to produce bricks, we need to produce cement, we need to produce iron, we need to produce locks for safety and security. That produces lots of work, lots of types of work. For fuel, a biomass, a wood is no more available. If coal is also not available so freely, then we depend on kerosene, gas, petroleum products. And lot of people, lakhs of people, maybe millions of people today worldwide are involved in works related to production of petroleum items. And there are regulatory authorities which will control prices, then you require transportation. So there are many works which are associated with safety and security. So need to survive produces certain works. In traditional or in ancient society, most of the work was confined to satisfying basic needs. Hunting and survival. People hunt or look for forest-based food items and survive. But once people feel more secure in terms of survival, then safety and security. security from wild animals, security from armies of others or other tribes. So we develop armies, we have soldiers, we have security guards, police, and we construct better houses, and we make bulletproof jackets. So many things, so many works are related to safety and security. Gisbert takes a different route, but I thought that this can be a more interesting way of looking at work. So let me try to relate needs to work. Social relations. When man finds that he is now more safe and secure, survival needs are met, and man feels more safe and secure also. Then what does he do? Then he wants to connect with others. He makes friends. He builds a relationship with other people. These relationships may be on the basis of lineage, blood relationships, husband, wife, brother, sister, parents, children. And in some societies, you have very elaborate arrangement of kinship, blood relationships. Traditionally, among Hindus, you felt connected to very distant relatives. Fathers, cousins, wives, family members, you got connected to them. They are our own people. Apne log hain. We are connected to them. When they meet in Mumbai, Surat or Bangalore, our people from UP, they will first introduce themselves to others. From which state you are? UP. From which district? Pratapgarh. Which caste? Yadav. Okay. Then they will inquire about each other's parents. From which village, from which part. And they will say, they will like to feel to be close to each other. So if they are closely connected, if they discover that they are closely connected, that the other party is somehow connected to their maternal uncle or paternal uncle or somebody, they feel happy. If they do not find themselves to be connected so closely, then they will start asking other questions. Okay, that this relative was married in that village, and people of that village were married in that village, and ultimately they will discover some connection. The moment they discover some connection, maybe very distant, they feel happy. Human beings are not happy just by surviving or just by feeling secure. You want friends, you want relatives, you want networks. The Facebook satisfies this need for social relations. Imagined community, not face-to-face relationship. But you feel close to all those people whom you meet on Facebook. LinkedIn, you feel connected to people on LinkedIn. You are in the same profession, you believe in similar ideas about work, about society, about polity. You feel happy that there are lots of people who think like you. Social relations, neighborhood relations, social relations. Now, this need to satisfy need of social relations also produces lot of work in our society. Matrimonials, e-matrimonials, newspaper matrimonials, they are all producing works for some people so that people get connected. Telephones, mobiles, social network for social relations. You want social relations. Nobody feels happy in isolation. If you are a normal human being, you will not feel happy if you do not have friends. You need to be connected. Remember, sometime in the beginning I said that according to Emile Durkheim, For normal person, there is a normal integration between ego and society. Extreme form of alienation or separation from society, which will mean absence of social relations. Absence of social relations can lead to suicide. Though in extreme cases, too much identification with society can also make you prone to commit suicide. But social network, this is another need of ours. We want to share our ideas. We want to talk to someone. We want to have groups in which we have we feeling. हमारे लोग हैं, अपने हैं, पराये हैं. So maybe if there is no pariah, we will discover a category. We will create a category of pariah. We will create a category of apna. The category of apna is social. If you are in Kanpur, then people belonging to your family only are apna or your close friends. If you belong to Kanpur and you are in Gorakhpur, then any other person belonging to Kanpur is your own apna. Then all Kanpuriyas become your apna. If you are in Bhopal, then not only Kanpuriyas but all the people belonging to UP become your apna. So apna is a social category. If you are abroad, if you are working in Singapore, then all Indians are apna. And you want to frequently visit those places. There are some such places everywhere where most shops are owned by Indians, where most Indian things are sold, where you can feel an Indian type of atmosphere. So in the rest of Singapore, you may not find, say, motorcycle, scooty. You may not find Bengali paintings, Bengali songs, Tamil songs, Hindi songs. But you create a situation. If you are in Singapore, you create a situation. You create a slum somewhere. Or you create a mohalla, a ward, a part of the city where you have specialization in meeting and in selling Indian things. So that is, so you see, what sociology tells us, that everything is social. So what is apna? That is social. As long as you are in Kanpur, only your own family members are your apna, or maybe very close friends or very close neighbors. But when you are away, when you are in Singapore, the whole India becomes apna. Even Muslims are apna. For Hindus, Muslims will also be apna. If you are in India and in your native place and you are a Muslim, then Hindus are not apna. But if you are a Muslim and you are in Singapore, then even Hindus from India are apna. So categories keep on changing according to, there is a very good phrase in Indian language, many Indian languages, Desh, Kal, Paristhiti. The words are from Sanskrit. Sociology tells us that everything depends on Desh, Kal, Paristhiti. So social relation, that is another need. And need for social relations creates so many types of works. Need to connect to people. Most of the time, you see, I do not have data, and I am not aware if some sociologists or anthropologists have collected data on this issue. But if you conduct a survey of how much time on telephones, mobiles, internet, emails is used for different purposes. Work related purpose, sometimes you send mail or you see mail regarding work. You want to clarify something with other scientists, you write a mail. For administrative purposes, you seek some clarification, you make a request to your boss through email, that is also one purpose. But if you analyze data on emails, I am quite sure that 85 to 90% of the time of mobile, telephones, emails is being used for building or strengthening or maintaining or creating new social relations. Social relations are so vital. When you have social relations also, then self-esteem and ego. You want to feel that you are important. If you are not important in the company of your friends, then what is the use of making friends? You don't want to make friends or you don't want to connect to people if you feel insecure or small or idiot or insane to your friends. You do not want to make friends then. Insane, idiots, imbeciles, duffers, they will not make friends. Nobody wants to tell himself that my friends treat me as though I am an idiot. Self-esteem, prestige, ego, my ego. I want to see, and from symbolic interactionist perspective, my self-esteem and my ego, they are heavily dependent on my reading of others' reactions towards me. I tell you that you are a very good student. You feel happy because I'm making some sentence. I'm making a sound actually. If you do not understand my language, you will not be able to understand what I want to say. I'm only making some sound. But in Desh-Kal Paristhiti, when we share lots of things, lots of norms, including linguistic norms, then you want to know what I'm saying, what I'm uttering. When you find that I'm saying you are a good student, and you interpret in your own language that a good student is this, and yes, you want to look like a good student, you feel happy. Yesterday outside, 2-3 students told me that you are a very good teacher. I was so happy. My salary did not rise. Yeah? I will get the same salary, the same honorarium for teaching the course. But they told me that you are a good teacher, and I felt very happy. Because it is a matter of self-esteem and ego. The difference between ego and self-esteem is that there are two things actually here. One is prestige. Prestige of what you do, and self-esteem of how well you do it. So prestige of a mess manager is higher than the prestige of mess workers. Prestige of the clerk who sits in the office is higher than the prestige of mess workers. I remember very well that when I was warden in one of the hostels, then one mess worker belonging to the caste of Thakurs, he was a pathetic case actually, because he could not reconcile the fact that on the one hand he belonged to the caste of Thakurs, Kshatriyas, and on the other hand he was working as a mess worker. In a pathetic sense, it became a source of pain, suffering for him. He suffered from various psychiatric diseases which were rooted in his feeling of inconsistency between mess workers' status and Thakur's status. In the same work of mess workers, many other workers were very happy. People who came from those backgrounds where in their village they had nothing to eat, and they came to this place and they became mess workers, then they were regularized and they were entitled to health center facilities, LTC facilities. They got good salary, regular salary. Nobody made any cuts in their salary. They were very happy. And in the same situation, this Thakur is not happy. And he developed several problems. He started avoiding work. He would never clean utensils. He does not want to peel vegetables. He just wants to supervise things. And he became a psychiatric case then because he cannot avoid this work when he's in the mess. So he started taking leave. For leave, he wanted some excuse. And all these things were happening at the deep psychological pain. So he required leave. And for leave, he must have some excuse. So he started making excuse, I am suffering from this disease, that disease. And then he started suffering from pseudo cardiac arrest, heart problems, which were pseudo. Actually, when he was taken to a proper health center outside Kanpur, they told him that he is not suffering from any physical disease. But he was suffering, he was personally suffering from a disease. And the root of the disease was that he was a Thakur and he was working as a mess worker. When I was warden, he came to me. I also had mercy on him, not because he was a Thakur, but because he was suffering. So he came with a request. And unfortunately, another root of his problem was that his wife was educated and she was working as a teacher in a decent school in Kanpur. If he had illiterate rural wife, not working, traditional type, maybe he would suffer less. That was another source of inconsistencies in his life. That he was a Thakur, his wife was educated, and that lady was working in a decent school and he was a mess worker. I was warden of Hall 4 and he was at that time in Hall 4. So he came to me, sir, ek kripa kar dijiye. Show me some compassion, at least for some months. Transfer me from mess to office. Salary will be same, everything, designation will remain same, everything is same. I asked him that what purpose will it serve if I transfer you from mess to office? And he said, sir, I have a grown-up daughter now and we are looking for a suitable groom for her. If I tell in other Thakurs, my relatives, that I am working in the office, I am a clerk or a senior clerk, then it will be easier for me to arrange for her marriage. And if I tell them that I am a mess worker, then they will look down upon me. I said, okay. So we transferred him for 2-3 months to the office. And I don't know what happened after that because then my wardenship was over. So we want, this is prestige. Prestige of an office clerk is higher than prestige of a mess worker. Prestige of an engineer, an analyst, a consultant, a leading advocates is higher than the prestige of an agricultural worker. All of them are workers. Advocate is a worker, agriculture worker is a worker, construction worker is a worker, security man is a worker, director is a worker, dean is a worker, everybody is a worker. Who are not workers? Workers, in Indian census we divide workers into 2 categories, main workers and marginal workers. Main workers, those who work for more than 6 months a year. Marginal workers who work for less than 6 months a year. Non-workers. Now, non-workers may be of 2 types. They may be unemployed Sometimes by convention we treat unemployed persons also as workers with 0 month of work. Unemployed people are those who are available for work. They are available for work. They want work, but they do not have work. They are not hired by anyone. Educated unemployed youths. They are educated. They want to work. There is no employment for them. Or in cities, At crossroads, you will find in the morning lots of manual workers, carpenters, blacksmiths, wage laborers sitting at one place with their tools sometime, expecting that somebody will come and hire them for a day's of work. If somebody comes and hires them for a day's work, then they become worker. Otherwise, they are non-worker or unemployed. They become unemployed. The term unemployed will be used only for those who want to work, but who have not got any work. They are unemployed people. And others are students, beggars. I am putting them in the same category. Students, beggars, inmates of jails, prisoners, dependent infants, children, and old people cannot work. So we have different categories of people: workers, non-workers. In workers, in Indian census, different countries have different conventions. Main workers who are in regular work, others who are in irregular work, marginal workers. Unemployed people who want to work but they do not have work. And then others, old people, children, students, whom we are still training to work efficiently later on in life. Many types of works will require long duration of education and training. So to this new generation of youth, we are providing training. After some time, we will become old and they will become workers. It's a sequential status. They are not two different classes. They are not two different social classes or communities. It's a matter of time that today they are students, tomorrow they will be workers, and today's workers will become old. Destitutes, beggars, prisoners, children. The different workers do different kinds of works, and there is a difference in prestige. Prestige of an IAS officer is much higher than prestige of a rickshaw puller. That is the meaning of prestige, and there is ego. You want to have prestige in society. Self-esteem is another thing. Self-esteem means whatever work you have, whether you are an IAS officer or you are a sweeper or you are a professor or you are a journalist or a rickshaw puller or a shopkeeper, whatever work you do, if you do it well, you think that you do it well, then you have high self-esteem. In estimation of yourself in others' eyes, you are good. That is self-esteem. And lastly, and yes, to connect this with work, you are looking for that kind of work which will give you a more prestigious job. And again, there are so many works associated with distribution of prestigious jobs or hierarchy of prestigious jobs among the job seekers. Self-actualization. Self-actualization ultimately means that when all these needs are satisfied, you have food, you have house, you have water, you feel protected, safe and secure, no threat from nature, no threat from other communities or other countries, you have good social relations, you are happy with your work, and you think that you know your work well, you are a good worker. Then self-actualization. Now at this stage you want to do something in accordance with your image of yourself. It's like this, maybe you want to write poetry. Many students associated with a Hindi literary society here, they want to write poetry or essays. But while you are studying in IIT Kanpur, you do not get sufficient time to write poetry. Some of our students write very good poetry. If they start studying literature in place of books of complex numbers, they will write much better poetry. And maybe their study, deep study, reading of poetry will definitely fetch them Padma Shri or Padma Vibhushan one day, which will not happen to them if they just devote themselves to thermodynamics, physics, probability and statistics and fluid dynamics. वो शौक ही नहीं है, they are not interested in that. So at least when you become quite mature and well established in your job, that okay, now I am at a senior position in the company, I have constructed 2 houses, one in my native place for my parents, one in Delhi for myself. Children are also doing well, studying in Delhi public schools. So everything is okay now. You have prestige, your ego is satisfied. Then you start writing poetry. There are many instances in which after the age of 40, 45, after settling down well, people start writing poetry. Why are they doing this? For self-actualization. Through work, I must express myself in accordance with my understanding of myself. I am a poet. I am not an engineer. I am not an analyst. I am not a consultant. So let me write poetry now. Yesterday in our DUGC, undergraduate committee, this is the time to discuss cases of termination. So we were discussing an interesting case of one student who has been terminated because CPI, SPI was low. And it was found that it's not that student does not have potential, he is good. JEE rank is good, earlier scores, first semester scores, they show that the student is brilliant and he has a lot of potential. But fortunately or unfortunately, he developed a greater interest in sketching, painting, arts, that kind. And when he started sketching, he ignored his studies. So CPI, SPI are affected and he becomes part of the list of terminated students. Now we recommended that case and we said, okay, he is a brilliant student, let us recommend him for the next semester, let us reinstate him. But also advise him not to go for sketching. I don't know what we are doing. We do one thing in committees, in formal positions, but looked at from purely dispassionate, objective point of view, I don't know whether we are doing a right thing to make him an engineer at IIT Kanpur, or we tell him, or we terminate him and say that you completely devote yourself to painting, sketching, arts. Maybe if we terminate him and guide him properly, society, if society guides him properly to become a good artist, there is a possibility that at the age of 55 or 60, he will get Padma Vibhushan for art. If he becomes an engineer, he will be ordinary because his heart is not there. But in formal committees, we will say, इससे कहें पेंटिंग ना करे, स्केच बनाना छोड़ दे, पढ़ाई लिखाई पे ध्यान दे, ताकि उसका CPI ठीक रहे. I don't know whether this is a right stand from social or humanistic point of view. But in formal positions, we have to take the stand. Because somehow all of us think, you will also think in the same way, that students' interests are associated with survival in BTech program. This is the dominant thinking, and we are guided by this dominant thinking, that let the students survive, because students' interests are associated with this survival in BTech program in IIT Kanpur, which may be a wrong assumption. So self-actualization. Sometime or other, then we self-actualize. that you become a social worker. You want to be a social worker. So once you have established yourself, you want. And all these things produce work. And not only all these things produce work, they lead to work. You have an innate desire to self-actualize, which may be in any form. It may be in the form of becoming a high-level spiritual guru. So at the age of 55, 60, you become a yoga guru. Before that, you are a management guru or engineering guru. Then you become a spiritual guru, religious guru. Or you become a politician. Or you become an artist, film artist, or a small screen artist. Or you take up social activities, self-actualization. And this generates a lot of work. Otherwise, these works are not associated with this. But for many people, then you also through, in economics there is a term, backward forward linkages, because some people have to satisfy the need for self-actualization. Some people want to present themselves as artists, TV artists, film artists, directors, producers. So this will generate a lot of work for those people who through their work in related industry are trying to satisfy their basic needs. So work is related to our needs. And not only this, work also helps in satisfying all these needs. These needs result in work, and work results in satisfaction of various needs. So for you, work is not something through which you only sustain yourself. Through work, you also want to maintain good social relations, prestige, you want to have high self-esteem, and you are looking for that kind of work which also gives you opportunity for self-actualization, because these are the needs of human beings. These needs of human beings are producing several types of work, and through these works, then we are trying to satisfy these needs. In different societies, we satisfy our needs in different ways. Pre-industrial, agricultural, or post-industrial, different works, different ways of satisfying these needs. So this is one aspect of sociology of work. Now, sociologists have looked at how work has changed. As society has changed, work has also changed. And two most important sociologists who will explain how work has changed are your Emile Durkheim and Karl Marx. Emile Durkheim gave the concept of division of labor, and Karl Marx the concept of alienation. Division of labor and Karl Marx alienation.